There's more for your Christmas at Sears.
Hello Ground Control, I'm Paul, and welcome to Retro Stellar, where a trending hashtag means it's your turn to buy breakfast at Waffle House. Scattered, covered, and smothered, please. I like Christmas as much as the next guy, but lately I've wanted to take a holiday from the holidays to distance myself from the marketing assault on my senses. Buy this, buy that, buy this and that. As a small businessman myself, I understand the value of advertising, but in recent years the fourth quarter noise has become deafening. When I was young, Christmas marketing was done differently. Before the internet and e-commerce, shopping itself was special. I grew up in a small town with no big department stores, so buying Christmas gifts meant a long trip to the city. Of course, there was one other option. The Sears Wish Book. This was holiday marketing back in the day. A kid like me could spend hours thumbing through the pages, imagining what might be, weighing options, contemplating the infinite possibilities. I paid a pretty penny to get my hands on this original 1981 Wish Book a few weeks ago. Ironically, I bought it online. My goal was to recapture the unbridled joy of being a child at Christmas time. Sure enough, when I opened the catalog, I was a kid again, and the images on each page rattled my memory like bumpers on a pinball machine. Speaking of which, you can choose from 5 different pinball machines advertised on page 655. So that got me thinking, what if I had a real wish book? What other experiences would I recreate if I could go back to childhood? Let's go there together in a segment I'm calling, All I Want for Christmas is a Wish Book. If I had a real wish book, I'd go back to the 1970s and play with clackers, lawn darts, cap guns, and all of the lethal toys that common sense later deemed unsafe. I'm not surprised we like these things. All kids love a little good old-fashioned danger. The real surprise was how long it took for them to be banned. Lawn darts were first introduced in the 1950s and caused thousands of injuries over the years, some of them fatal. After decades of legal battles, the toys were officially taken off the market for good in 1988. But it was fun while it lasted, as long as you wore a helmet. If I had a real wish book, I'd take photos. Meaningful photos. Before the digital age, we used this stuff called film, and a roll usually had a mere 24 exposures. This meant that each shot was precious. No one wasted film on snapshots of beach feet, food fails, or grumpy cats. Posing for the camera was significant. Just loading film into a camera was a sphincter clencher, like defusing a bomb in a James Bond movie. And after carefully planning and executing every shot, we had to wait to get the pictures developed. For you 90s kids, it was a mere 60 minutes of torture. But I grew up before the invention of the 1-hour photo mat, and we had to put our undeveloped film in the mail, like cavemen, and wait weeks to get our pictures back. Those photos were so valuable, no wonder we always ordered double prints. If I had a real wish book, I'd go back to the 1980s and eat all the food. I'd go to Wendy's in 1982 for the juiciest, most delicious burger on the planet. As the restaurant evolved into a conglomerate, things changed. Even the most die-hard Wendy's fan under the age of 40 has no idea how tasty those singles with cheese used to be. Or maybe if I was feeling fancy, I'd put on a nice blazer and head over to the swankiest of swanky restaurants, Steak and Ale. In the 80s, that was fine dining, and the highlight of the experience was being uppity enough to order the Kensington Club. Fancy. If I had a real wish book, I'd have a shared television experience with every person in the nation. Before movie rentals, video games, and the internet, most folks killed time watching TV. And with only 4 channels to choose from, we were all locked in on the same hit shows and big moments. When something major happened like The Miracle on Ice, the last episode of MASH, or Who Shot JR, everybody saw it. And the happening united us all. I've often thought that some of our current political divisions could be healed if we went back to having only 4 channels. Of course, the resulting revolt triggered by banning all the other channels would probably destroy the fabric of society, so maybe not. If I had a real wish book, I'd go back and listen to music with the same sense of discovery that only a teenager can muster. Nowadays it's easier than ever to stream songs, but as a grown-up none of it feels all that special. But when I was in high school, every note on a record was magic. I can still remember listening to Sgt. Pepper for the first time in my friend's basement and walking away utterly changed. I recall standing in a mall food court in 1979 and hearing a new musician called Prince. What? That's one person playing all the instruments? Everything stopped when it was time for Casey Kasem's long-distance dedications. I spent my free time laboring over mixtapes and building a record collection. What do you want for Christmas, Paul? Just a brick of Maxell XL 290s or some Record Bar gift coins, please. If I had a real wish book, I'd watch Saturday morning cartoons again. If you hadn't been paying attention, you might not realize the major networks don't show animated shows on weekend mornings anymore. Something that was a staple of my childhood is now a relic of the 20th century. Several factors led to its demise: the rise of dedicated animation channels on cable, the backlash over toy-centric kids programming, and the educational requirements of the Children's Television Act of 1990. The result? No more Hong Kong Phooey, no more Harlem Globetrotters, no more Captain Caveman. What do kids watch these days while they eat their sugar smacks? Oh wait, those don't exist anymore either. Finally, if I had a real wish book, I'd go back and get some plain old ignorance. Sometimes I see a little kid playing innocently and I think, lucky son of a gun, he has no idea. When I was a child, I was clueless about the inner workings of politics, the ravages of war, and how corn dogs are made. Back then I thought being an adult meant driving cars and staying up late. Now I know it's all filling out forms and waiting on hold. I didn't know about cholesterol, carbs, and cardio. I didn't know George Lucas would make 3 terrible Star Wars prequels. Lastly, I didn't know that pretending to be Santa Claus in December is stressful and expensive. Yes, ignorance is bliss. But you know, being an adult in the 21st century isn't all bad. The advent of new technology has given us a wish book of sorts. YouTube and streaming channels like Hulu and Netflix offer us access to forgotten TV shows and movies we thought we'd never see again. The lyrics to any song you ever heard on American Top 40 are just a click away. Collectors can go back and buy long-lost toys and memorabilia on sites like eBay, all guaranteed to arrive just in time for Christmas. In closing, I'd love to hear about what you'd wish for, so please let me know in the comments or message me on Twitter. I'd also love to hear your feedback about Retro Stellar and the topics you'd like me to explore. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button to like this episode. It really helps. And if you're still wondering what to get me for Christmas, a few new subscribers wouldn't hurt. So please tell your friends about the show. Or when you're home for the holidays, just hijack your parents' computer and hit the subscribe button. They're too busy forwarding chain letters and conspiracy theories to ever notice. For next week's episode, I'm preparing a compilation of the best pages from this very wish book, so you too can relive those glorious holiday dreams. See you next time on Retro Stellar, remembering yesterday's, tomorrow's, today. Happy holidays! Thank you so much for watching. Please take a second and click the subscribe button to see future videos. Go to overjupiter.com for the best sci-fi, superhero, and pop culture t-shirts on this or any planet. Use the code RETRO15 to save 15% store-wide. See you next time!